Y'all ran up that last sketchbook tour like it was nothing. I'm talking about in 4 days, y'all gave me 2,000 views. Need to see y'all do it again. But anyway, I'm not gonna waste y'all time. Let's do that sketchbook tour.
For the real sketchbook tour, I forgot to say it. We gotta get in the green.
Honestly, go. Can't say how I'm feeling inside. I wanna be sealed, but got too much pride. I wanna be sealed.
See, usually I hold the mic in my hands, but now I'm gonna try and talk into it as loud as possible so that y'all can hear me. And I do want to explain the sketchbooks that I have that is not that small black one that y'all seen before. I've used like large Cansons and like the typical art books you've seen. Like let me pop one out real quick. Here's one. Here's like the most recent one I was doing. This is like literally the original Eat Kings comic. This is the first one ever made, bro. Like, this is the first Eat Kings comic. You can tell that I didn't know a thing about making comics. This is like the first Eat Kings character artwork. Like you see the stark difference in like this sketchbook and the other one. But I know what y'all waiting for. Let's go through some of them real quick.
This sketchbook has better stuff in it than like some of the other ones. I don't know if I'm gonna show you all in this one video because it might make this video incredibly long. But some of y'all said y'all like the longer videos, so we're gonna see how this one does if it's longer. So like this one was during a phase of time where like I was not drawing a lot. Like I actually thought I was done with art. And this was like back in not even 6 months ago. Like this was a drawing I was trying to do of like a almost redraw, but with a new perspective on an Instagram post I made a while back. I'll probably like show you the post like when I edit, but it'll make more sense if you saw the other drawing. And like there's a lot of unfinished stuff in here, and I probably won't finish it since I don't really do traditional art like I used to. Like now I'll do sketches in my sketchbook, but full finished pieces probably not. Here's a sketch of a baseball player because I was trying to study pose and references. There's a drawing of me. You can see I really wasted like a lot of these pages, and that's a bit of an issue. And drawing myself has gotten easier, but it's incredibly hard for me to do. This is supposed to be a drawing of like a guy with like brain cells coming out of his head and like splayed out on the floor, and he's supposed to have like a lot of items of substance around him, like needles or bottles or pills, like things of that nature. And this was just like something to play with perspective. Like this sketchbook is not as interesting as some of the other ones were. And I know that's probably a disappointment because like a lot of these pages are basically empty. But it could give me inspiration on newer drawings. Look, I'm gonna skip a lot of this because a lot of these pages are blank. But there is some good stuff in here, I promise. This one. Now I drew this and I didn't like the green I used. I might redo it, but it went well because I like how the hands look. I like that it kind of the light goes up and it just gets darker from then on. I think I'd redo it digital. I think I could give it a better take. Here's Balloon Man sitting. Astronaut on the bike. Astronaut with an octopus arm. This is not the first time y'all have seen me draw an astronaut that is missing an arm. I draw a lot of astronauts. I'll keep it real. I can't stop. Like 2 pages. This was a drawing I entered in one of my school art contests. I really enjoyed it. I posted on my Instagram a while back, and I think it might have been called a Theomaniac's Theory, something along those lines. This piece was kind of based on like my fear of developing schizophrenia, because I'd asked my folks about history of mental illness, and I have a family member with schizophrenia. But as I was taking psychology class, I think I did have psychology class at the time that I drew this. I was actually in a unit being taught about mental illnesses and neurological disorders. And when I saw that schizophrenia and autism had a link, I was like, that's fairly interesting, because it seems like there might be a history of autism too in the family. So this piece is kind of based on that. This is supposed to be like a cool piece where like it's like a scuba diver's suit, and like there's arms coming out of it that reach toward the camera. But I never finished it. I feel like maybe I could do it digitally, but we'll have to see. And I saw some of y'all's comments about merch. Y'all gotta really run this video up in the comments about merch so I can like draw some cool stuff and put it on like hoodies and t-shirts and stuff. This is actually one of my favorite traditional pieces I've ever made because it was a complete freehand. This was, like I said, and this was during a time where I was barely drawing. I draw like maybe once a month and I could barely will myself to get up and draw. But now I draw almost every day. I pretty much have to because of the comic that I put out weekly. But you see how like it brought me out of my shell a little bit. I really just love how I did this. They come out, they get bigger and bigger and be reabsorbed into those heads. I love this piece a lot. Actually, would y'all want this on a shirt? I might put it on a shirt. How about that? And this drawing was supposed to be like a scene from like a story I was gonna write, but like I said in the last sketchbook tour, I can't write it anymore because someone stole the idea. So this will never happen. This is supposed to be like the god of death encircling the gunslinging cowboy that's supposed to be the main character as he, you know, finally gets his choice combative item. That's for the censorship, you know. Here's some sketches that's supposed to be like Frankenstein and like trying to draw a face onto a cube, but I still didn't get it at the time. So awkward. You can see I wasted a lot of sketchbook paper. This is just some guy that likes to get up to misdeeds, I'll say. I thought he was kind of fun to draw. I might bring him back just to like sketch every now and then, but I really like his vibe. This sketchbook didn't have much in it. It was pretty underwhelming. Not like all my other ones, or like the one I showed you last time. Because like I said, this is from a period of time where I was barely drawing. But let's show you the next one. Now, here's the one I showed y'all like at the beginning of the video where I talked about how the first Eat Kings comic is in the sketchbook. But there's probably not going to be a lot of cool stuff in here. Now, here's a fisheye lens drawing of a drawing I made where it's supposed to be like Satan presenting Adam the apple, you know, the fruit of forbidden knowledge. And there's Eve kind of down the center. This is when I was trying to like understand and study composition and things like that. You can see I have a better grasp on like artistic fundamentals when it comes to traditional, but when it comes to digital, I get all confused because I really don't know how to translate the skills and stuff I learned traditionally into digital. I'm still trying to get in the hang of it. But I feel like because of digital being a different medium, I almost had to adopt a different art style for me to understand it. I don't know if that's other artists like that, but if y'all are going through that, let me know. Or maybe I'm weird, and whatever new medium I pick up, I have a different art style. This was just like scribbles, bro. I was just cutting pieces out of shapes, making stuff out of it. I'm not gonna linger too long on like these, Kirby with a weapon. This is supposed to be Blackbeard from One Piece, but the drawing is like really awkward. I can't believe I was actually drawing like this a while back. This was supposed to be a drawing where it'd be like, I forgot what it's supposed to be, but it's supposed to be, I think, the evils that come out of Pandora's box, and then the very front is a small boy that represents hope, because hope was one of the things that was in Pandora's box, but it was left behind. But everything behind it would be like giant monsters representing like, you know, greed and disease and evil, you know, things like that. This is going to be a drawing that represented hunger and starvation, but I didn't care for it. This is when I started to realize I didn't like my art style, and I was like, bro, I need to change it up. But then here I was drawing like sketches of people I know. So there's like me right there. At least I try to draw me. There's like a friend from school. I drew this, like this is a meme I had on my phone at the time, so I drew that. And this is supposed to be me, kind of. It didn't work. And this is like Tyler the Creator from that video where it's like, are you filming again? Are you filming again? Yeah. And this was gonna be me as a sketch, but like you like this, I can look back and I'm getting all the memories of how I felt about my art style, and I just wasn't caring for it. Like I was improving, but not in the ways that I liked. You know what I mean? This drawing was kind of inspired by Over the Garden Wall because I like really love that series. When it first came out, I watched it and I was horrified, but I come back now and it's really comforting, and I love the show. I gotta watch it again. This is me trying to draw, like, trying to remember the fundamentals again, you know, perspective, physical objects and form, and anatomy, things of that nature. I was really trying to force myself to get back into art, but I hadn't revived my love for it. So while I had the work ethic and the drive, I didn't have the motivation and the feelings that came with that should have come along. This was a drawing that I feel like would have been amazing if I had done it digitally, because there were things that I wanted to do with it that I could not do with the things I had, the markers and pens I had. But it looks decent. It could look better. I could honestly draw it and make it look better digitally. I might. And this is a sketch page that I was trying to make in preparation for a piece I had in mind about, basically it was supposed to be commenting on the roles that African Americans have played in American society. So it was going to be a young child soldier wearing gear that was too large for his size, weapons too big for his body, and he'd be surrounded by animals that were different caricatures of the black identity, whether it be a buffalo in reference to the Buffalo Soldiers, a monkey, a crow, and I think there might have been another animal that was going to be there, but I might draw it because I actually like the idea. And this is just a bunch of skulls. I was trying to do like, fill up this sketch page with 50 skulls and like keep it up, but I didn't. I have trouble committing sometimes. This, I was trying to draw like a wizard magical shop, and I came close, but I guess the reason why I don't finish a lot of these drawings is because I'm slick lazy, and like it takes a lot of effort to have to put pen to paper, bro. Like a full finished piece, because you gotta put down the pencil marks, you gotta lighten it and redo it. It's like with digital, it's so much easier. I don't have to change pens. I can just literally change the color with a tap, change the brush with a tap. It's so convenient now. And this was something I can tell you. Here's Balloon Man throwing a punch in the top corner. Here's a guy going down the center. He's supposed to have big old wings, but you can tell it never came to fruition. Now at the bottom is Esteban Ul, the character I will never write. So I guess you fans are gonna have to give him a story, because I am done with the character, sadly. This is supposed to be a monkey and an octopus playing a card game, but I did not know how to figure out how the octopus part would work, so I abandoned it. This is a drawing I made for a friend of a friend who has also appeared in E King's comic, because I based the character off of him, like very loosely, because I thought it'd be funny. I actually really like how I did this. It almost reminded me, I was like, oh, okay, I can make good art. I felt like I just was not good at making consistently decent art, but I was getting there. This was supposed to be a guy screaming, or it was supposed to be me, and there was going to be stuff coming out of the eyes, but it never worked. This is actually the drawing I was trying to make in the past. See, this was supposed to be the Monsters of Pandora's box, and then Hope in the bottom. I actually really dig how I did this. Do y'all want this one on a shirt too? And I like color it digitally or something? Like, how would y'all feel about that? Like, I redo the lines and colors digitally, but put it on the tee? Let me know in the comments, because I might do it. And now we're back to the first E Kings comic. Based off of a conversation I had with a coworker at the time about how, how long would it take for wars to be treated like sports. It was, done with conversation that I had in mind, and I just turned it into a comic. But E Kings has become something far more and far different than this startup. And when y'all read the real story, you're going to look back on this and be like, wow, you've come a long way. And here is the first drawing of Trey and Jay. First ever drawing of them in color. I was like, bro, I got to draw my characters. But you can see how they're all stiff and stuff. Even now, it probably looks stiff. Like, in a few months, I'll look back at my art now and be like, bro, I was so lame. But, everybody has to change and improve from time to time. And this one was the second one. This was before I was even locking down the comedic aspect. So if you think E Kings wasn't funny now, then it definitely wasn't funny in the beginning. Because, like, I didn't really know what jokes I was trying to tell. I just made interactions and wrote it from... I kind of wrote it as I was writing it. Like, it's supposed to be Jay at the counter taking orders all day, and then he thinks somebody in the back of the line is, like, talking about him, getting rowdy. So he goes to the back, turns out the guy's on the phone, but then as he's walking off, the guys actually was talking to Jay, and they almost get to a fight, but they can't because Jay has to go back to work. Sketchbook a little sticky, man. This is the third Eat Kings comics that I actually did put on TikTok. You could probably find it, but it's not on Webtoon. It's never going to be on Webtoon. It's also a retconned. It's not canon. You got Trey and Jay up here basically asking their coworkers how do they make money outside of Eat Kings, because there's no way they're making money to support themselves when they don't even work as much as Trey and Jay. So you got a dude named Brick, he's a personal trainer. You got Damani, who does exist in the current Eat King shorts as Vanta Visor. I kept him. And here's Ashton, some guy that works at a restaurant across the street called Drink Queen. It's supposed to be like an antithesis to Eat Kings, you know. And here's Ricky. He sells herbs and spices, if you know what I mean. I actually did bring him back for the Eat Kings comic, so he still exists too. I might bring these characters back. And here's Imogen, she makes jewelry, and here's Nisha, who does hair. And the manager man at the bottom, who of course is still in the Eat Kings comics. You can kind of see how I start to lock in his features, and he starts to get more like exaggerated from then on. You can kind of see the makings of like what his character would end up being, but back then he wasn't as bizarre as he was now. And this is a sketch for the first digital Eat Kings comic, which doesn't even feature Jay and Trey, oddly enough, just Manager Man doing Manager Man stuff. Where he falls asleep on the phone calling a Chinese restaurant looking for a pizza, but you know, they don't serve that. From here, you really don't see much. Like after that, I don't use the sketchbook because this is one of my most recent ones. But I can show you some other ones I have because I want to show you some other sketchbooks. 2 more, and depending on how long it takes, I might show you a third, but this one features like the makings of the first Eat Kings comic and like the makings of Trey and Jay, bro. Like you got, this is literally the sketch for the Pandora one that you just saw. You can kind of see the makings of it in there. See how it kind of came into fruition, you know? Esteban Ull sketch. Here is the storyboarding and script for the first Eat Kings comic. I think, yes, it is. And it's crazy because originally they were swapped. Jay was the one that was inquiring about, like, which is so fucking crazy. Here's like kind of like a duel of them together, like the first duo that I've ever done with them. I might redo it and show y'all what they look like now. Y'all want to see like me drawing that, like just a sit down of like, you see a camera of me talking, and then while I'm drawing, you got the footage of the like time lapse and stuff. I could do that with y'all. Here's a further storyboard of the first Eat Kings comic. And here's when I kind of wanted to lock in on the design. So this is kind of the first official character designs of Trey and Jay. This is like pilot design stuff. You got Jay, you got Trey, you got Manager Man. And they're all a big happy family. This is a sketch for another Black liberation piece I wanted to do, where this is supposed to be like a, kind of like how America has an Uncle Sam or a Lady Liberty, or how the French had their lady. Like this is supposed to be a representation of Black pride. Kind of personification of the Solarian flag, if you've seen it in my room. Here's a wolf eating cake. If I sound out of breath, it's not because I don't care, it's because I'm actually winded from talking. You can tell I talk too much. Here's Gojo. I actually drew him just for a TikTok so I could blow up and get some views. Who knew y'all I'd have a YouTube channel I could show it off now? I actually didn't expect so much. Another Trey and Jay sketch. For the drawing y'all saw earlier, you can this was back when I was still not logged in with art, so it was so difficult for me. But you can kind of see the makings of how I'm starting to, like how I sketch is starting to log in. Like this is like the beginning of that, bro. This is the storyboard for the second one. This is like a revitalized, refurnished storyboard. This is a character called Pillow Man who's supposed to have like a pillow over his head, a bedsheet cape, tidy whities on, and slippers as shoes. That's like his whole hero thing. And he knocks people out to sleep. That's like, he just fights people, basically. Y'all want to see me showcase him in Eat Kings? I might do it. But like I said, this sketchbook didn't have much in it, so now I'm going to show you the cooler sketchbook. We got the sketchbook and the cool sketchbook. So with this one, I was kind of trying to test myself and make drawings with no color, because I felt like I was kind of depending on color and such as a means of making my art look good, which I feel like didn't benefit me. So like I just use a lot of gray. I buy gray markers, and I only use neutral grays to get the vision down. And so I used the prompt to kind of get this whole thing going. drew a guy with an octopus head sitting in a chair. I mean, the prompt was person sitting in a chair. But guess what I did? I put an octopus on him. I did that. And then this one is like a little guardian at a forgotten well. You know, he defends that well. That's like his little place, his little vibe, you know. That's how he get down. And this was like a little tattoo design for a friend. They wanted a Medusa tattoo. Next page. And this is a drawing of me. And you can kind of see that at least when I drew this, I was kind of locking in. I was getting a little more in tune with how to draw me. But you can also tell this was a while back. This was like, I think this was 2022, like when I drew these. Let me see, because these drawings, I forgot to date a lot of them. This might have been 2022, because my dreads were really short back then. It says November 25th, 2022. Yep, 2 years ago, chat. And here's Esteban. Oh, here's like the only drawing of him that actually looks good. This is what I want him to look like. I want him to be like a cool Lone Ranger cowboy sort of thing. A little cool revenge story. And here's a drawing of a pot fish I made because a friend made a really cool clay piece, bro. We were in AP 3D art, bro. And they were making some pretty decent stuff. Like I sucked at it. And I also wasn't putting in effort. I gotta show y'all my 3D stuff if y'all want to see that. But when I made my 3D stuff, it was so low effort. It was actually quite lazy. But what they did, it was so good. I was like, I gotta draw what you made. So I did. And I actually messed with this drawing a lot. This is when I was trying to draw a magic shop window, but like the way I draw architecture and buildings still sucks. I don't put enough practice into that, so it's very difficult for me to do. It's supposed to be like the Statue of Liberty covered in flowers, but I was starting to have like face blindness or something, so I started to suck at drawing faces. And here's a mice knight guy. You know, he got a little peppermint shield, a waffle cone breastplate, a cape made out of whatever, and like a little hat, you know, made of frosting ice cream, and a little candy cane sword. This could actually be hard, like, yeah, E King sound like a mishmash of stuff, but literally it is. And y'all love it too. I might put him in E Kings just cause. My fault. This is kind of freaky, I'm not gonna lie. But it's supposed to be like a vacuum cleaner man, like from Chainsaw Man, but vacuum cleaner wise, you know. It's supposed to be a shaman, but you know. I really didn't know where to go with it. I think I just drew it just because I was told to. And this is me, bro. This was December 10th, 2022. This was like my junior year of high school. I drew this. I remember sitting in class and drawing it. Because I was supposed to be in English class, but English class ended because I already passed, bro. Dual credit class. You know, your boy's smart. And so I was chilling in the art class, drawing. This was decent work. Like, if I could somehow kind of do what I did with digital like this, like, it was pretty decent. And these are characters that actually no longer exist besides Balloon Man. This was supposed to be a story about how wars can affect people, but it was going to be told like with animals and stuff. You know, it was supposed to be like a coming of age story and like an understanding of the world and things of that nature. And this was just a mishmash of ideas that would never come to be because there was no reason for the story to exist. It had no message, it had no commentary. It's just a series of events happening that I just kept playing in my head. Like, it wasn't a real story. It had no real structure to it, so it's never gonna get written. But Balloon Man, I need to do something with him. I really like how I did Balloon Man in this one. This is a Raven Crow King thing. It doesn't look that good. This, I actually really like this one. Y'all want me to put this on a shirt, like on the back of a tee or a hoodie? Let me know, chat. Let me know. I gotta know what to do with it. But I actually dig the design. I like how I did it. Kind of looks like Cleo from E King. This is, I couldn't even tell you what this is. I was getting too technical with like the stuff I was drawing. I was a little too focused on like realism or anatomy, so I wasn't giving myself a chance to just let the creativity flourish because I kept myself too strict. This is just like little boxing sketches I was doing because I wanted to make a drawing for a friend I had at the time. And here's Yuta, what's his name, Okotsu from JJK. A friend told me to draw him, so I did. The leg is all weird. This leg is weird. And the arms are longer than they need to be. Yeah, the arms are too long. Crazy I was drawing like this 2 years ago, bro. And here is Earthman, a character I made that does not any longer exist. I can't really put him any lower or anything, so he just exists in my sketchbooks. This is him holding up the sun, by the way. Here's Balloon Man winding up a punch that knocked us out of me. Like, I'm talking about bad. Another Balloon Man drawing. He loves his overalls, guys. He loves his overalls. Balloon Man sketch, but it didn't look that good. I sucked at drawing feet at the time, bro. Like the way I draw feet is a lot more comfortable than back then. I kept making them too small. I was afraid to make the feet big. And this one was like a drawing of a guy getting stuff out of the laundry. But like I said, this was back when this one was back like 2 years ago. So this wasn't during my artistic withdrawal or like dry spell. But I wasn't as good as I was back then as I was now. Like the amount of pieces I made that were passable in my eyes were not as many as the stuff I make now. And even now, I've got a long way to go. I think I sneezed while I was drinking tea, and this happened. Because this was probably back when I worked at McAllister's, which is why you see those hoodies in my TikToks and YouTube videos. But this was gonna go crazy. It's gonna be like a faceless violinist. This shows up in a different drawing I made. It's kind of a reference to a drawing I made my sophomore year of school that I might show y'all. I posted on Instagram a while back, so you could see it there. This is a golem. Golem with a guy's head in the center, because I was like, I want to make it a little surreal, a little creepy, a little funny, a little weird. So I did just that. And now you've got this drawing, this little sucker right here. You kind of see the makings of my drawings, because like in a lot of my artwork, I make very thick outlines. I use lines heavily to my advantage to emphasize form, to emphasize depth. And another astronaut. I know y'all probably get tired of astronauts in my artwork, but I love drawing astronauts, especially back then. I don't do it as much as I do it now, but I love drawing astronauts. Another me drawing in Kai, and this was back far ago, so it's not as me-like as it, but my dreads are short, so you can kind of see my lot progress. This is a book monster. Class, if you've never heard of a book monster, then you've never been on an adventure. This is a book monster. They exist. No, I will not elaborate. This is a drawing of me with my locks up. You probably seen me in a video with this style already, but my locks weren't long enough back then to make this style. It's supposed to be Balloon Man and his arch nemesis, but don't worry about that. Let's see the page. No, I did not. Octopus, not cool. This was actually kind of a cool portrait, I'm not gonna lie. But I remember when I drew it, and now it's making me angry. But I could redo this and make something cool, but like, this was hard. This was low-key hard, chat. Even if y'all don't like it, I mess with it. Would y'all like it on the shirt? I'm playing. I was trying to use watercolor for this, and I actually still suck at watercolor. I feel like it could have went crazy if I just understood watercolor. And painting in general, I actually really suck at painting. I'm only good with that pen, bro. This, I think I remember drawing this. Not that good looking. I drew this one back when I was watching Doro. It's a really good anime, bro. I gotta read the manga, and I gotta read Die Dark. But this, Doro inspired that. And this was supposed to be like me if I had a stand. It'd be made out of papers and ink. I'm gonna have to redraw this because this is hard, and I'd be a cool little stand user. This was a year ago, February 2023. This, I'm really proud of this. This is when I took a chance and used a different color for my shading instead of just a darker version of a different color. And I love how this looks. I did good back then with this at the very least. This, I was trying not to depend on any lines, so I put pencils down and I tried to color it. It don't look bad, but I feel like if I put more effort into making more drawings where I only used color, I feel like I would have flourished. But I didn't give myself a chance, and now I still suck at painting. It's supposed to be like a, I don't know, next, boring. Dang, this would have been a cool setting. But this is before I ended up scrapping the story that y'all will never read from me. So don't worry about it. This was going to be a third addition to what was a series of pieces of humans with crystals coming out of their faces and bodies. But I never posted it because I was disappointed by it. But now I'm looking back on it, and actually it's not that bad. I'd even go as far as to say it looks pretty good. I actually like it now. Crazy. I had to get better at art to realize that some of my old art isn't even that bad. And this is a guy I drew. I hope you like him. You know what, chat? I might show you another sketchbook since you were such a good class. Alright, tadpoles. This will be the last sketchbook. I've got like 6 other ones to do. And that's not even counting like the stuff I put in contests and like my AP portfolio. So there are other sketchbook tours to look at. But remember, this was back when I was not that good. Or at least not as good as I was now. And what you're seeing right here is the first page of another sketchbook I started a while back. And it features characters that I'm not going to write. I kind of missed them because they brought me comfort. This was Doan, Bonzo, a clown robot. These are kind of based off of D&D races. So he's supposed to be a Warforged clown robot. He's supposed to be a tech ninja, a troll, but like, not a troll, an orc, but he was like really good at science and stuff. And this is a gnome. He was like real positive all the time. And here's a tiefling that like will explode stuff. Here's a drawing of me with antlers for some reason. And here, oh, I remember this one. I loved this drawing. I loved doing this one. It looks so good even now. Like, whenever I made stuff like this, I was so proud of it. And I'm still proud of it now. This is beautiful. Hey, chat, would y'all want this one on your shirt too? Let me know. Just put a timestamp in the comments for which one. And I'll be like, okay. Here's a guy with a TV on his head next to a baseball bat. None to it. A devil cutting the string of a... Somebody told me to draw this for them as a tattoo, but like at the time I just really wasn't feeling doing art, and I also just didn't want to draw it in general, so I made it really crappy. Here's Balloon Man, bro. I love Balloon Man. And I was trying to play around with like light sources and color because it wasn't something I was used to at the time. But I think it's something I want to give another try. I drew this and I was like, man, Balloon Man's so cool. I love Balloon Man. I think y'all should love him too. I really like that I made him. Here's me, kind of. It's supposed to be like a bunch of hands reaching for a star, but it wasn't gonna come to fruition. Another astronaut. I was actually hoping I wouldn't stumble across this piece during the sketchbook tour and embarrass myself. But here's another astronaut to look at. It would have been cooler, but I didn't really do it the justice I had in my head. Here's a demon salesman with a mask on that's tied at the hands. I can barely tell what this is supposed to be. Balloon Man and Acupunk. It's lore I'll have to explain. The frog that's... It's hard to explain what this is because... Remember the frog from a few minutes ago? This is his granddaddy, bro. It's hard to explain the lore. This is supposed to be a fight between Balloon Man and Acupunk, but it doesn't even look that good. It looks scribbly, it looks childish, bro. I don't know. This is supposed to be like a little scene where like Acupunk hits up Balloon Man in a bar, but even here you can see my perspective skill is not good. Like I still wasn't getting how simple it's supposed to be. Here's a hot dog. Looking a little freaky. Here's supposed to be like a little... This is supposed to be like a drawing of like all the main characters of the stories I wanted to write kind of in one little panel. Doan, Balloon Man, Esteban, Plibby, the frog that you've been seeing. This is me holding up the world. And it's significant because my name is Dante. And when I was looking at the origins of my name, it's Italian, from what I found. And it's derived, it's short for the name Durante, which is derived from the word endurance, or at least shares meaning with the word endurance. And Atlas is the Greek titan of endurance. And there's a lot of iconography of him everywhere, holding up the world or the sky. Now, the story is that Atlas holds up the heavens against the earth so that the heavens don't fall to the earth. If I got that wrong, correct me in the comments. But it's supposed to be kind of conflating me with the Titan Atlas, the Titan of endurance. That I'll always have the desire and urge to persist and continue. I don't know what this is. This is supposed to be fake deep, but don't look that good. Blank page. This is supposed to be like a head, and like has other heads, and like they get bigger and kind of come out to the paper. It could have been cool. It had potential, but I just didn't do it right. It's supposed to be me, but I was not understanding how to draw myself, so it just doesn't look good. This is a character from a story. Like I said, I won't be able to write. Like, bro, his calf is fucking massive. Oh, let me not swear on here, guys. Let me not swear on here for real. But this bro's calf is massive. It's literally bigger than his forearm. Doesn't even make any sense. And his haircut didn't make sense either, bro. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. Like, this could have been cool. It's supposed to be like the main character of one of my stories holding a trident, because he has water powers and stuff. You can tell I read Percy Jackson when I was younger. Here's Esteban Ull perched up against the door side, clutching that iron, that steel, that pole. Here's a burger that I drew. That's actually a reference to a drawing I made in like 8th or 7th grade. You'll probably see that next sketchbook tour when you see the prime, the beginner Dante stuff, where I started, where the OGs saw me. This is like a redraw of the OCs before I eventually had to abandon them. Doan and his octopus pet Pliby. You got Takuno, you got Bonzo, Runuk, Dravel, and Imatoa at the top. But I won't be making them anymore. I mean, I could, but I haven't really decided a story for them that makes sense now. I don't really know what I tell with it. This was supposed to be a story about people who wake up in a new world marked with insignias that represent that they are fate's chosen ones, and they're supposed to enact in like a sort of battle royale, or like a bid for power, where the last one standing decides the fate of the world. And this is a drawing of an artist I've been listening to for a long time. His name is Carter Ace, and each word is one of the songs of his I've listened to. Now, when I drew this, he didn't, as I remember, he did not come out with the demos and stuff that he has now. Like, you got In the Atmosphere, you got When You're Gone. I think I don't think it was. You got 4 Minutes, That's How Life Goes, C'est La Vie, How Could You Ever, Better, Just Like Money, On My Radar. Like, these are all of these are titles of songs that he has made, like Optimism, A Little Time Off, It's All Love, What They Think. I love that song. Stay Here Instead. Like, I think my first Carter Ace song, my fault, I'm on a tangent, but I gotta let y'all know. The first Carter Ace songs I'd been listening to were Stay Here Instead, What They Think, and I think The One and Only. Yeah, The One and Only. They were amazing songs, bro. And I think I'm wrong. I listened to that and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta become a fan. Cause like when he gets on songs, it's amazing, but like whenever it's somebody else's song and he's on it, only his part is good. That's the thing. Besides Solar Flare, the whole song for Solar Flare that he was on with that dude, I think his name was like Greg or something. That was good. Both their parts was good. But like his one song, Cause of You, only his part is like worth listening to. Panels I never drew in. I think I remember what this was supposed to be. I'm not explaining this. Y'all can do with it what you will. Someone else can have this character or thing. This is supposed to be like a guy being taken over by a demon summoned by a ritual. Could have been cool. This is supposed to be a reference to Francisco Goya's drawing of Saturn devouring his child. I think it's Saturn, or it might be Uranus. Or Kronos. I mix up the names, but I promise you I do know my art history. It's been a minute. I apologize. Here's Pliby. I actually really like his character because he was supposed to be a positive force in the face of governmental oppression and warfare, but eventually his character will be broken down into something that a person that realizes they're going to have to steel themselves and kind of toughen up for the world that's to come. I think maybe I could give the story a chance. If y'all want to see this written, but E Kings is coming first. Here's Batman turned Greco-Roman angel. It could have been cool, but it don't look good. Here's a Muppet pizza guy doing his Muppet pizza guy things. Here's a Cupid soldier. It's supposed to be like a take on like a Cupid, but as like an army soldier. So like instead of an area crossbow, he got wings on his helmet. And it would have been cool. But you can tell like I was still in my small feet phase, so like all the feet on characters were like smaller than they should have been. This is a piece about my fear of having to work a dead-end job with nothing to offer and not pursue my dreams. Probably be cool if I drew it now with the experience I have, but you know. I always liked drawing light sources that would come up, like from down up, but I wasn't as good as it, you know. I think there's not much here. It's just the astronaut. I apologize. The lamp. I drew my lamp in my room. You heard it fall earlier in the vid. Here's a king being taken over by bricks. Like this is supposed to be like a drawing where like his body becomes the castle that he inhabits. Balloon Man. This is gonna be a character that like drinks. He like has a soda can, and like it comes in different flavors. Like he drinks it, and a certain flavor gives him a power. This flavor gives him another power, but like it's randomized each time. So kind of like Ben 10, but more random. I don't know what this is gonna be. I didn't care for it. This, I loved this. When I drew this, it revived my love for the characters I made. I actually might draw them again. I think I remember what this sketchbook was. Oh. But yeah, these are all my characters. Here's Doan and Porable. Here's Pet Octopus. Here's Dravol. Here's Takuno. Here's Imatoa. Here's Bonzo in the back and Runuk at the bottom. You know what? This drawing is actually still so good. I gotta draw my characters again. Even if I don't write them, I should still draw them, bro, because they look good. This is just some old buff guy. He was gonna be a part of the story as the characters you've seen previously, but I eventually made a villain that was just more developed and better to the point where he just kind of got forgotten. Here's two people dancing. It's not that bad as I originally thought, honestly, but it could be better. There's a guy singing, but like, for some reason his head is too small, his body's just, it's all not like how it should be. It could have been better. I might redo it, honestly, because it has potential. It has no depth either, which is another issue, because the perspective is all wrong. Here's Jordan Ward. I remember when I drew this. I actually might redraw it just to get some clout, just to get him to notice me again. What y'all think about that, chat? Where people draw celebrities just to get their attention. Here's a tree. It's a tree. This is when I was still trying to low-key develop that story from earlier, but maybe I might have to give it a rest, chats. Here's a character from that story. He was like a pivotal figure, bro. And it's him with his weird-looking kids, bro. I love this one! And yes, this is related to the other crystalline drawings you saw. But I don't think y'all have seen the yellow one, which was like the very first one. But I posted on the Insta. Oh, I like. This man's name is, I think I named him Gideon Diamond. He is such a pretty man. He got his lipstick and fingernails painted. He is in a he is quite lustrous, quite beautiful. And that's it for this sketchbook. Hello, party people. I'm glad you could sit with me for this incredibly long sketchbook tour. And I hope that y'all are here for the next sketchbook tour and the next sketchbook tour. And y'all gotta see me for the drawing sessions I want to do with y'all, the stream, like video game streams. Like y'all gotta let me know if y'all want to see that, because I kind of want to do some. And what else? Because there's a lot more I want to tell you. For one, I want to introduce a lot more people to art, but also give artists a place where we can be, more friendly with one another. Like, more friendly, more inclusive, especially for beginner artists. They have their place here too. Like, being an artist doesn't mean, oh, you grew up as the art kid, you got good, you earned your stripes, and now you can be a part of the community. It should be inclusive to everyone, because the urge to create is in all humans. Y'all should see that. So I want this place to be a place where anybody can come, do that little art thing, show off. Because we all make different stuff, and it's all quite beautiful. I want y'all there. And for me, my art is the pen and paper, the digital stuff. And E-Kings, plug. Y'all gotta read Eat Kings, because I'm not just writing it just because I've been a fan of anime and comics and manga for years. I mean, that's one of the reasons, so of course I'm gonna try and make my own, but I have my own message when it comes to Eat Kings. This time, out of all the stories I've wanted to write over the years, I know why I want to write Eat Kings. I know what it's about, and I know what I want to share with you all and tell you. But you've got to be there to read it. And the shorts got some little story lore details in there now, as I'm collecting more stuff. But remember, you got to do your daily doodle. But you know what? I'll let you go from now, because you got to get that done. Remember, don't forget to follow my other socials. You know, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter, the Webtoon. And, you know, don't forget to get in the green.
I feel it. Honestly. Can't tell how I'm feeling inside. I wanna be sales, but got too much pride. I wanna be sales, but I'm really here. Don't really like here, but I tell you, I tried. I live.